CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
How's it going, pro wrestling fans and sports collectors? This is Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza. Today I'm counting down the top 5 prices paid for WWF Magazine at eBay auction for the last few months. If you watch my channel, you know I stick to eBay auctions for my top 5 videos, as I feel that is the best indication of the true market for these collectibles. Coming in at number 5 is the first WWF magazine to be called the official WWF magazine, the April-May issue from 1984, which sold for only $61. Take a look at this periodical, everything you need to know about the World Wrestling Federation all in one place. The seminal larger-than-life superstar at the time, Hulk Hogan, is depicted with an early WWF belt and raising his fisted finger to show that this is in fact issue number 1. In 1984, it was hard to find news about wrestling. As a fan, you relied on what they called the rags, these magazines, to get your news fix. They provided insight and color beyond what you could find on TV. This issue boasts that Hulk Hogan is now the 9th WWF champion, that Tito Santana is eyeing the Intercontinental belt, that Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson are ready to take on the Samoans, and Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik are now feuding. Wrestling at the time was becoming a soap opera, and WWF Magazine was to provide the dirt. Coming in at number 4 is the first holiday special edition WWF magazine from December of 1984. This copy sold for $75. What an image on the cover. We see Sergeant Slaughter, who at the time was as hot as Hogan, depicted as a Norman Rockwell-style painting with an American USA scarf and star-studded shades. That is what makes this issue special. In addition, the white cover appears blemish-free and in fairly good condition for its age. The cover story is Wendi Richter in an expose titled Exclusive: The Faces of Wendi. In addition, there's an article about Brutus Beefcake, who is yet to become the barber, the Junkyard dog, and interestingly, a rock and wrestling article about the fabulous Freebirds, who I did not think were in the WWF. Viewers, correct me if I am wrong. That article piques my interest. I wonder how WWF Magazine would discuss that tag team. Coming in at number 3 is a 4-way tie between March 1988, July 1997, February 1990, and November 1989, issues which all sold for $99 each. I hesitated to include these sales as they were all one single bid winners at auction, but clicking through to research the bidder insofar as eBay allows, all the sales appear legit, so I decided to include them. These 4 magazines are all graded by CGC with grades between 7.5 and 8.5 and depict some of the most important superstars of the time: Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, the Legion of Doom, and Andre the Giant. These sales make me wish I saved my WWF magazines from back in the day. I had stacks in pristine condition in my closet. I had subscriptions every year as a kid, and at some point they were tossed, likely when I moved out of my parents' house. There doesn't seem to be anything notable about these issues except that they are graded and look really nice slabbed. Is $99 a high price for a graded magazine? I don't know. If viewers have insight into grading fees and what is a high grade for a magazine, please leave comments and inform us. Coming in at number 2 is what most collectors consider to be the first WWF magazine, what was called the World Wrestling Federation Victory, number 1 from 1983. There were only 3 issues of Victory magazine before it became WWF magazine, and this is the first, which sold at auction for $123. This is actually a low price for this issue, likely because the condition is not great. Regardless, this is a piece of wrestling history, WWF number 1. The cover depicts Jimmy Snuka leapfrogging his opponent in a dark arena. These were the days when wrestling was a sport of legitimate tough guys, and Jimmy Snuka was one of the biggest WWF faces at the time, bringing a high-flying character to life. That was the direction of the Federation, to create comic book characters and to advertise wrestling to a younger audience. WWF Victory #1 personifies the roots of that transition from sport to spectacle. Coming in at #1 is the WrestleMania 6 Souvenir Edition WWF Magazine, graded as CGC 9.2, which sold at auction for $480. I hesitated to include this one as I wasn't sure if it was a program or a magazine, but my recollection from the time is it was sold at newsstands and is therefore a magazine. Viewers, please correct me if I am wrong. I did not include other programs in my list for that reason, that I think were only sold at events. The cover of WrestleMania 6 is one of my favorite all-time wrestling images. This is the only time WWF ever did champion versus champion. It is the only time they did not clearly define a heel. It was an experiment, and it worked. There was Team Warrior and Team Hogan. Schoolyards everywhere were buzzed at what would happen when a superstar held both belts. Depicting the duality without suggesting who we should root for was new for WWF. The lightning in the background is a precursor to Hollywood Hogan and WCW Thunder. The cover has it all, and I love it. Thank you all for watching CollectAWrestlePalooza and for the support. If you have made it this far, please consider subscribing to this channel. I release new videos every week. And no matter what, be good to each other and happy collecting.
CollectAWrestlePalooza, CollectAWrestlePalooza.